Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Podcast. I am Charles, your host, and today we have a very special guest. Maria is a student from Argentina who came to study at a university in the United States. She has been living in Boston for a year, and today will share with us the challenges of being a foreign student and how the language barrier impacts this experience. Welcome, Maria. How doing today?
Hello, listeners. I'm great, thank you, Charles. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. Let's get started, Maria. What was the biggest challenge you faced when you arrived in the United States with an intermediate level of English?
The biggest challenge when I arrived in the USA was understanding people in everyday situations. In Argentina, I studied English in school, but it's very different when you need to use it all day.
That makes a lot of sense, Maria. Many students feel the same way when they move to an English-speaking country. Classroom English is different from real-life conversations, especially with different accents and fast speech. What strategies did you use to improve your listening skills and feel more confident?
I practiced with my American roommate. Sometimes we called instead of texting. I also used apps with short listening exercises. I listened every day on the bus. Listening many times helped me understand better.
Great advice, Maria. Now you study IT, right? Many students want to work in the US. How can international students find job opportunities while studying?
Yes, I study IT. Internships are very important. My university helped me find a summer internship. Joining student groups helps too. In my computer science club, I meet people from tech companies. Job fairs are also good. I always prepare my resume before going.
It's really helpful that your university offers support through career centers and job fairs. Some students are nervous about networking. What tips do you have?
Sure, Charles. My advice would be to start small. You don't need to talk to everyone at once. Try to find one or two people to have a conversation with, and don't be afraid to ask questions. People love to share their experiences, especially in the tech world.
Now let's talk about daily life. How is the cost of living in Boston? What is expensive or cheap?
Boston is expensive, so I share an apartment with other students. I'm cooking at home to save money, but there are cheap food options like pizza and hamburger. Public transport is good, so I don't need a car.
That's true, Maria. Now tell me something. Have you ever been through a funny situation or a gaffe while learning English? Something unusual that happened because of a mistake in the language?
Yes. In my first month, I was at the supermarket. I wanted a bag, but I said, "Can I have a bug?" The cashier looked confused. Then I realized bug means insect. We both laughed.
These gaffes are part of the learning. Now tell me, what is the day-to-day in the United States, especially in Boston? What are the main cultural differences that you notice in relation to Argentina?
One of the big differences I noticed was punctuality. The work and study routine in the U.S. is very intense, and people tend to be very focused on their tasks and on meeting goals. In Argentina, the pace is also fast paced, but perhaps there is more emphasis on enjoying moments with family and friends during the day. Another interesting aspect is the food. In the USA, food is very practical, with fast and practical options such as fast food or quick meals. In Argentina, meals are more structured, and there is a great appreciation of the moment of eating with family or friends.
Speaking of cultural differences, I've already had the opportunity to travel to Argentina, and I must say that I loved it. The people are extremely welcoming, and the culture is rich and full of history. To finish, what tips would you give to those who want to study abroad, especially in a country like the United States? Do you think it is important to prepare beforehand, studying a little of the language and culture of the place?
Great question, Charles. Of course, if you are thinking about studying abroad, preparing beforehand is essential. I recommend starting to study the language as soon as possible to feel more comfortable in everyday conversations. In my case, it helped me a lot to watch movies and series in English and practice the specific vocabulary of my area, in this case, IT.
Thank you very much, Maria, for sharing your experience with us. I'm sure your tips will help many students who are thinking about studying abroad. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you continue enjoying this journey in the United States. And to all who are listening, we see you in the next episode of the English Podcast.